Who do you think can make a better hamburger stroganoff? Dad or a professional chef? Find out in this video. Being able to cook your own food is a skill that has a lot of benefits. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a hamburger stroganoff. To make it interesting, I sent the recipe to Chef Jeffrey all the way across the country. He's going to make it too. We'll see how he makes it. You can compare that to how I make it, and then you can decide how you want to make it. These are all the ingredients you need. Pound of ground beef, a small onion, can of cream and mushroom soup, half cup of milk, egg noodles, butter, salt and pepper, and sour cream. After you watch me and Chef Jeffrey make this, go get these ingredients, come back, watch the video again while you make hamburger stroganoff, and see how it goes for you. Make sure you put it in the comments because I want to know how it goes. Let's get started. Before you start fixing food, make sure you're starting in a clean kitchen. You don't want to make a mess into a bigger mess by fixing dinner. For our hamburger stroganoff, we're going to use 2 pans, this one and this one. This one to cook the stroganoff in, this one to boil the noodles in. We'll start by heating some water for the noodles. I put just a little salt in the water. And we'll get that boiling. We'll also start the ground beef. It's convenient to have a plate to put your utensils on. The recipe calls for a medium onion. This one's on the large side of medium. I'm planning on doing a live stream where I make spaghetti, so I'm going to save half of this for that, and we'll just put half in for now. I wonder if Chef Jeffrey has any tricks on cutting up onions. There we go. The water's close to boiling, and the beef is browning. Chop the onion not to cook. But I just cut it in little slices and then turn it 90 degrees and cut it again. Once we've got it in chunks like this, I'll just chop over the top. And I think I'm good. Water's boiling and the hamburger is browning. Mix these onions in and they can cook till they're tender and start to be see-through. Then we know the onions are about ready. I have one trick with this recipe. It calls for 2 cups of cooked noodles. I don't know how many dry noodles end up being 2 cups cooked. Since I've made this before, I'm going to use 4 cups of uncooked noodles. Those will need to cook for about 10 minutes. The onions are starting to look softer and some of them are clearing up. You want to have all your meat where there's no pink left. We're pretty much there. Wonder how Chef Jeffrey's doing with his.
The oyster mushrooms. Cutting your ends off in half. Just cut evenly over the rainbow, and then I'm just going to follow it over the top, slightly adjusting the angle of the knife every cut. And if it's small, I just tip the onion over, keep going, last cut, every piece is the same. Do that one more time, with the rainbow. We're just cutting off the bases. Just the mushrooms, the ground beef, a little bit of oil. Both of them are on about a medium heat right now. Add a little butter into the mushrooms, give it a little browning, give it a little extra flavor. A little bit of salt, spice blend. 90% cooked, we're going to kill the heat. Just going to move the meat. Going to let that butter brown just a little bit. You can't see any browning yet. We're going to get a little water going for our egg noodles.
The onions are starting to look clear. We're going to want to drain the fat. And I do that by just putting it on a slope. I'm going to turn the stove off while I do that and let gravity. Now we'll drain the fat. Now we add all the rest of the ingredients except for the sour cream. Start with cream of mushroom soup. 2 tablespoons of butter, teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 cup of milk. Gonna mix all this around. This cooking pan is really handy because it's got a built-in strainer in the lid. This is probably more than 2 cups cooked noodles, but I like a lot of noodles. We'll add our noodles and stir those in too. The recipe calls for this to simmer for 10 minutes covered and then 10 minutes uncovered. In the past when I've made that, it's pretty dried out by then. I think I've had the heat too high in the past. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this at lower heat and we'll let it go for 10 minutes. While that's simmering, you might want to think about a side dish. I'm going to peel and cook some carrots. Meal times can be great family time. If you haven't had that opportunity while you're growing up, you can still have it. You can be the dad for your kids that you didn't have growing up yourself. Let's see how it's looking after a 10-minute simmer. It's supposed to simmer another 10 minutes. I'm afraid it's going to be a little dry by then. I will reduce the heat even more and we'll set the timer for, we'll do 5 minutes and see how it looks then. Let's get these carrots cooking. You can always do frozen veggies as a good side dish. These are easy, just boil them. As soon as they boil, they're ready. Wonder how Chef Jeffrey's doing with his stuff.
Got a really nice browning going on the mushrooms now. Gonna go ahead and add our milk. Get our noodles in the water. Are looking great. Throw our meat back in. A stick blender. 1/2 cup of milk. Just boil them up. Making your own cream of mushrooms. So this is mushrooms, the milk, a little butter. And add a little seasoning to balance it. A little bit of salt.
Wait a minute, he's making his own cream of mushroom soup. That's not fair.
Mushroom into our meat and onion. Fresh parsley. Sour cream. Add a little more butter to the pasta. Voila.
I don't know about you, but I don't like to do dishes, so I like to reuse whatever I can to minimize making more dirty dishes. I'm going to use the same measuring cup that I used for the milk for the sour cream. All right, we'll put the last ingredient in, which is this sour cream. The carrots are cooking. Mix in the sour cream. Look who joined us. Hello, Felix. You must want food. You got to feed the cat.
Parsley in the back pocket. Very good.
Let's see how it turned out. Pretty good. Chef Jeffrey's going to have a hard time beating this. But this is a contest, so I got to send him some. Let's try the carrots. Delicious. Chef Jeffrey doesn't stand a chance. Well, maybe.
All right, see what we got here. No, not bad with can of cream and mushroom soup.
If you enjoyed this video, then you're going to want to watch this video about a side dish that you can make that's even better than these boiled carrots. Fresh steamed vegetables. Always remember, you can figure out how to navigate life successfully, even if your dad hasn't been there to help you learn the ropes. And you do have a dad that loves you. And I will see you on the steamed vegetable video.